Hello everyone. Today I want to talk to you guys about the venerable Spyderco Paramilitary 2. I know there's like a ton of videos out there because this is one of those EDC blades that everyone who is a knife nut will most likely have in their collection or have had in their collection in the past. I've had two of these in my collection. This is the second one. The first one that I had was the one with the uncoated blade with the camel handles. I ended up trading it, or I think selling it, and then I missed it so much because it's such a great knife, and so I ended up getting one. I always wanted the one with the DLC black coated blade and the camel handles. I think personally it looks the best, but it doesn't really matter, right? I mean, at the end of the day, it's gonna do the same thing, and this thing is, there's a reason why knife nuts like us love this knife so much. And not even just knife nuts, it's just regular people who are not into knives so much. Why they get this knife is because it is a fantastic knife. I mean, I'm gonna go over some of the reasons why I personally love this knife, and maybe some of the things that I may not like about this knife. So first things first is that Spyderco, what they're known for is just functional, just ergonomic knives, and this Paramilitary 2 is an epitome of just ergonomics. And it's not that, there's nothing really fancy about it. It's just really, it's just flat slabs of G10, and that has what do you call it, steel just nested into the G10. And even though it's like a blocky handle, it just fits in the hands so well. I have small to medium sized hands, but man, it fits my hands so well. I love the contours of this knife. There's not a lot of straight edges. The only straight edge I see is really the spine of the knife, but other than that, everything else there's just curves, and it's just really engineered to just fit in the hand very just naturally. I don't have to force anything. It just, when you grab this knife, it just automatically it just comes into place. Like this knife it just literally feels like this knife was designed to fit any type of hands, really. It feels good in this way. It feels really good when you choke it up this way. I really use it mostly, the traditional way, where I have the thumb up here and I just kind of just slice into material. Another thing I really like about this knife is just this, Spyderco does their full flat grind so well. This thing goes all the way up and it's just flat all the way through, and it starts off relatively, I don't know if this is like a thick stock per se, but it tapers all the way down to a really nice thin edge, so it just cuts so well. I hadn't had any material get caught up anywhere on this blade, including the hole. It's always cut right through. I've had this knife for maybe 2 years. Before that, I had my first Paramilitary 2 for like 5 years, and so about 8 years I've had this model, and I've taken it camping multiple times. I've carried it as an everyday carry. I've cut through wood with this. I've opened bottles with this with the tip. I know you shouldn't be prying stuff with the tip, and as you can, I don't know if you can see, but my tip is gone a little bit, but no worries. But it did its job. It's a really capable knife. It's really handled everything I've thrown at it, and that's why I have no hesitation grabbing this knife to go hiking, to go camping with, and just to have it as an everyday tool. I love the compression lock. I love just the action that it provides. It's very smooth. Boom. I could flick it open with my thumb. I could Spidey flick it. I could slow roll it. I could do, what do you call it? This Spidey drop with it. All sorts of things. I mean, it's just a pleasure to play with. It's a really fun knife. It's very smooth. And another reason why it's so smooth is not only is it riding on phosphor bronze washing, but it has a bushing system in there, much like the Chris Reeves Avenza. And so it is just a fantastic action. It's always centered. I've taken this knife apart, I believe 2 or 3 times, and it always come back together just like it did from the factory. The blade is centered, the action is fantastic, the lockup is solid, and so just overall, this is such an easy knife to just use and also maintain in the field. You know, it's really easy to take apart, to clean out, and then just to put back together, and it comes right back together and ready to go. I love how Spyderco does their S30V, and it sharpens really easy, and it keeps it sharp for a good amount of time. You know, I've like I said, I've cut cardboard with it, I've cut wood with it, and I haven't had to sharpen it. I think right now I may need to sharpen it a little bit just because I've been using it a lot. But overall, it keeps an edge really well, and Spyderco does their S30V like just well. And I know there's a lot of really cool steels out there now, and you know they're constantly coming out with new variations of steel. But I mean, this is just, you know, tried and true. You know, you know what you're getting with S30V, and for Spyderco, they do it. You know, they do it right, you know, so there's nothing wrong with it. I love it, and I'm gonna keep I'm gonna keep using S30V, you know. But yeah, I just love this knife. Let me see, now in terms of any dislikes, man, I would have to be nitpicky, you know, to be honest. I guess the hump, you know, it kind of takes up some real estate in the pocket because of that hump. You know, when it goes into your pocket, it's gonna, you know, you're gonna have this, you know, this hump kind of get in the way of your hand when you're reaching into your pocket. But I'm really being nitpicky. At the end of the day, it's no big deal. Is there any other knocks on this knife? No, to be honest, I can't find anything, you know. I mean, I've been in the knife game for over 10 years. I've had all sorts of knives. Sorry about that, knives. I love Spyderco. This, you know, Spyderco was one of the first companies that I got into when I got into my, you know, this knife hobby, and I still get Spyderco knives because they're just so reliable. You know, they're designed to work, and they're designed to feel so comfortable in the hand. And so I'm always going to have a Paramilitary 2 in my collection. I want to bring in some other knives just to kind of compare the size. So let me see. You got, I'll bring out the newest knife I've got is the ZT0308. And this Z3, the 030 is a monster of a knife. If I line it up, you could see it's probably about half an inch longer than the Paramilitary 2 and way heavier than the Paramilitary 2. If I bring in the ZT0562 tie, sorry about that. It's lengthwise is relatively comparable. Yeah, it feels like it's about the same length. It's gonna be a little bit heavier, of course, because it is a titanium handle knife. Let me bring in a large Sabenza 21, and this one, it's about the same size as well. And then I'll bring in a small Sabenza 21, and you can see that it is much smaller. If I line it up, it's probably about 1.5 inches longer. So overall, if you're looking to get just a knife that is just all-purpose, capable, able to just handle anything that you essentially throw at it, and it's home in the office and in the outdoors, I would highly recommend a Paramilitary 2. Wait, I take that back. I don't know, in the office, you might scare some people because it does look very militaristic and whatnot and kind of intimidating. But I think for the average Joe, man, this thing is going to be more than capable to handle whatever you throw at it. Another thing I really like about this knife is that it's really lightweight, you know. Even though you have, you know, a pretty long knife, it feels a lot lighter than it looks. You know, so you're not gonna really have a hefty presence in the pocket. you know, it's gonna be there when you need it, and when you don't, and it won't really get in the way. So that's it with this knife. It's just a all-around everyman carry kind of a knife. It's a knife that is fantastic. It won't break the bank. I believe these go for about $120. I've seen it on, you know, different forums for like 110 used. Whether you get a new or used, you will not regret it. And you know, I'm gonna pretty much say, you know, what everyone else is saying about this knife. Get yourself one. You know, if this is too long for you, I know they have the Para 3, which is a little bit more EDC friendly. I believe it's a 3-inch blade and a shorter handle. So you could go for the Para 3, but I think the Para 2, it really just stands on its own as one of the best everyday carry knife you could get out there for the money, and just not even for the money, just for everyday purpose. It's gonna do its job really well. And there's a reason why most knife nuts like myself have a Paramilitary 2 in the collection. You know, we could go anywhere from, you know, a Chris Reeve to, you know, I got several Chris Reeves here, but at the end of the day, you know, when I'm just looking for a knife that I could just pick up real quick and use, and I know that it's not gonna have any issues, I just pick up a Paramilitary 2, you know, and it does the job really well. So that's that. If you're on the fence about getting one, or you sold one accidentally and you want to get one back, trust me, I was there. You know, I got this a second time around, and I don't regret it at all. It's a fantastic knife, and it's worthy of any person's collection. All right, with that, I'm checking out, and I'll talk to you guys later.